and guess. When I was about 30, some of my friends were in their 40s, and a few were way up in their 50s. And I heard a saying that went, "Comfort is the curse of middle age." I thought it was funny and true because they really did seem to need more physical comfort than I did. As the years passed and I approached and then blew right past 40, I saw for myself just how true that saying was. So I wasn't surprised when last year I started having back pain on a regular basis. It would flare up, the doctor would give me muscle relaxers, and then it would get better. Being a writer, I naturally assumed that I was just spending too much time at the computer, and I promised myself that I would stretch more. After more stretch time and less computer time didn't work, I started to blame my computer chair. I'd had it for 15 years, and I thought it was comfortable enough that whole time. But maybe my middle-aged body needed more lumbar support, or maybe more padding. It was obvious I had that curse of middle age. So I went on a quest to find a newer, younger computer chair. I hoped that technology had improved enough that this new one would make me feel like I was 30 again. The one I bought was leather, had a high back, and great lumbar support. It was just a combination of comfort and style that a man of a certain age should have at his workstation. And I was ready to get back to work and not feel like a stiff old man while I was at it. But that didn't work. My back would still flare up and then get better. My doctor referred me to a physical therapy clinic. There, I did low-impact exercises and low-impact stretches. They relaxed the muscles using massage and electrical stimulation. That worked, sort of. I mean, who wouldn't feel better after a massage? When I complained to my friends about my back problems, they asked how long I'd owned my bed. 10 years, I said. Well, what kind of mattress is it? I don't know. I bought it in Montgomery Ward right before they went out of business. Oh, you've had that mattress much too long. You're not supposed to have a bed longer than 10 years. Several people told me this, and it made sense. I went online and confirmed this. I also discovered all the different disgusting things that can live in a mattress after you've had it 10 years. It was time to get a new bed. I went from furniture store to furniture store like some kind of bearded, middle-aged Goldilocks. That one's too hard, and that one's too soft, and all those over there are much too expensive. Finally, I found one that was just right. It even had a quilted surface on the mattress. Fancy. I was disappointed when after several nights, my back still didn't feel any better. Maybe that quilting was too soft for me after all. I obviously needed more firm support. So I flipped over the box springs and put it on top of the mattress. The underside of the box springs was a smooth, hard surface like a cross between plywood and cardboard. I wasn't so sure I could be comfortable on that all night. So I put the sheets back on and gave it a test. I lay in my bed, watching TV, paying attention to the way it made my back feel. Within half an hour, I had put everything back the way I started, and I started to wonder that I may have made a costly mistake of my latest purchase. My back flare-ups last year kept me from doing a lot of things I wanted to do. For weeks, I'd looked forward to the Toastmasters conference in Memphis. I'd signed up in plenty of time to hold a spot, only to end up losing my fee when my back flared up at the last minute. I just couldn't imagine riding all the way to Memphis and back with my back the way it was. 2 weeks after buying my new bed, I found out something interesting. It turns out cancer can cause back pain, especially when you have a mass the size of a grapefruit in your abdomen. And the ironic thing was that this type of cancer that had made me feel like an old man for so much of the year was actually a young man's cancer. Testicular cancer usually strikes men between the age of 15 and 35. But there are exceptions, and I was one of them. A few weeks later, I started doing chemotherapy. It was pretty soon after that when it was obvious I couldn't stay on my own for very long. I went to stay with my parents an hour and a half away. My brand new bed and computer chair sat unused for several weeks. And the chemo was tough. I lost 25 pounds, and most of my hair fell out just in time for one of the coldest winters on record. I had nausea, and the worst part was severe sores on my tongue and throat, all the way down my esophagus. For much of that time, I was barely able to speak louder than a whisper, and it's why my voice sounds different now. But the chemotherapy worked, and it worked quickly. It cleared up the cancer. It would take quite a bit longer to regain my strength and stamina, but for the most part, they would come back, along with most of the weight that I lost. But after being sidelined for so long, I'm more focused and driven to achieve my goals than ever. This bearded, middle-aged Goldilocks plans on living happily ever after. Thank you.